Flash flooding in northern Afghanistan has killed at least 60 people and left over 100 injured. Dozens of others remain missing after heavy rainfall hit the Baghlan province. Taliban officials say the death toll may rise as many people remain missing and more storms are expected in the coming days. For more on this, we're now joined by DW reporter Beenish Javed. Hi, Beenish. Thanks for being here. Can you give us a deeper sense of the scale of this disaster?
Nehal, Afghanistan has been hit by unusually heavy rainfall over the last few weeks that have killed more than 100 people, destroyed thousands of acres of, or has inundated thousands of acres of agricultural land. More than 1,000 homes have been damaged. So we see large-scale devastation because of these recent floodings. And we're talking about a country that's among the poorest in the world. The United Nations says that Afghanistan is the largest and the most severe humanitarian crisis right now in the world. Nearly 30 million people, that's two-thirds of the Afghanistan's population, they need humanitarian assistance. And the recent flooding has just worsened their situation.
What about the Taliban authorities? Have they been able to do something to protect people?
It is a big challenge for the Taliban government to, first of all, to reach to far-flung areas. Some areas, the terrain is really difficult. But also they lack resources, they lack modern equipment and funding to help and protect their people. We know that when Taliban seized power in August 2021, since then Afghanistan's economy plunged and it has not been able to recover, mostly because the international community, of course, doesn't trust the Afghan government. And therefore, they're struggling with the meager resources they have to help Afghan people.
You know, as you've been speaking, we've been looking at some tremendous pictures from Baghlan province. Why is the region in the first place seeing such massive flooding?
So there are many reasons, but scientists link this abrupt and heavy rainfall to climate change. So the atmosphere is warming and then it gets triggered by human-induced climate change, and that makes heavy rainfall more likely. And Nehal, Afghanistan is among the countries most affected by climate change, although it only emits less than 1% of global greenhouse gases. And it's not only flooding. Afghanistan also faces drought, deforestation, and other heavy impacts of climate change that are affecting Afghan communities. We see that it causes economic hardships. Many people leave their areas, and now in Afghanistan, in many parts, abandoned villages are a common sight. And scientists say that it's human-induced climate change at play here.
You've spoken about poverty in Afghanistan and also the plunging economy. Hypothetically, if Afghanistan had the resources, what measures could it have in place to protect its land and communities?
So countries like Afghanistan, who are vulnerable to climate change, can actually battle climate change if they invest in, for example, most importantly, resilience and adaptation. So which means that they invest in early warning systems. So if a flood is approaching, there are systems in place that timely alert people so they can evacuate. And once they evacuate, the governments can construct shelters, not only for the people and the communities, but also for livestock. So when people return to their homes, they have their livestock, they have their sustenance, basically. And most importantly, to invest in climate-resilient infrastructure. So buildings, bridges, homes are constructed in such a way, by such material, that they can sustain extreme weather events, but that requires a lot of money. And there are countries, for example, Bangladesh is praised for its adaptation mechanisms. They have developed all of these, but even countries like Bangladesh, it's a developing country, alone cannot fight or cannot have policies in place that can help them fight climate change. So it is the responsibility of the international community to invest and help the vulnerable countries invest in these kind of resilient mechanisms.
That's DW reporter Beenish Javed. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Nehal.